The meeting room aboard the Shadow Collective's flagship was silent. 8 alien council members sat around a black table, their multiple eyes fixed on the holographic display showing their latest failure. It was their 15th failed assassination attempt this cycle, and even their most advanced AI couldn't explain why. "The calculations were perfect," said First Commander Rock, his crystalline body reflecting the dim light. "Our agent had a 99.9% chance of success. The target should not have survived." The target, a corrupt planetary governor, had somehow avoided death by choosing to visit a food stall instead of his usual restaurant. A simple, illogical choice that had ruined months of planning. Second Commander Blue, a tall being made of flowing liquid contained in a transparent suit, moved forward. "We have analyzed the data from our last 1,000 missions. There is a pattern, but it's not what we expected." She waved her liquid arm, changing the holographic display. "Our success rate drops to near zero when targeting individuals who regularly interact with humans." The room filled with confused murmurs. Third Commander Stone, an ancient being of living rock, spoke up. "How could a primitive species affect our success rate?" "Because," Blue replied, "humans are the only known species that consistently acts against their own best interests and logical patterns. They create chaos wherever they go." The display changed again, showing various mission recordings. In one, a target survived because a human tourist got lost and accidentally triggered a security alarm. In another, a human worker decided to take a different route to work for no reason, warning their target of danger. "At first, we thought humans were a problem to be eliminated," Blue continued. "But then we found this." The display showed a new set of data. Missions where humans were involved on the assassin's side had a success rate of 95%. Rock's crystalline form sparkled with interest. "Explain." 3 years ago, one of our younger agents befriended a human dock worker named Jack. On his next mission, instead of following our AI's careful planning, he asked Jack how he would approach the problem. The human suggested something so ridiculously simple that our computers had dismissed it: walking up to the target in broad daylight and pretending to be lost. The council watched the recording of this mission. The target, so focused on detecting complex assassination attempts, never suspected the simple approach. Success had taken minutes instead of months. "Humans," Blue explained, "are natural agents of chaos. Their minds work in ways our predictive AI cannot understand. They make choices based on what they call gut feelings, and often succeed because their actions cannot be predicted by logical beings." Stone rumbled deeply. "Are you suggesting we work with humans?" "I'm suggesting more than that," Blue replied. "I suggest we recruit them as strategic advisors. Their chaos, properly directed, could be our greatest asset." The council debated for hours. Working with humans was unprecedented. Humans were seen as primitive beings who had barely mastered space travel. Yet the data was undeniable. Finally, Rock made the decision. "Begin the recruitment program. Find humans who understand strategy but embrace chaos. Former military personnel would be ideal. We'll start with one and expand if successful." As the council dispersed, Blue reviewed the profile of their first potential recruit, Tom Reed, a former military strategist known for unconventional thinking. His file noted multiple successful missions that had initially been deemed impossible by military AIs. "Send the invitation," Rock ordered. "Let's see if humans can teach chaos to the galaxy's most disciplined killers." Blue sent the message, knowing this could change everything. The Shadow Collective had existed for 10,000 years, built on precision and perfect calculation. Now they were reaching out to the galaxy's most unpredictable species for help. The message would reach Earth the next day, appearing as a simple job offer for a strategic consulting position. Tom Reed would have no idea that his response would begin a change that would reshape the galaxy's most feared assassination guild and humanity's place in the universe. Tom Reed stared at the strange job offer on his computer screen. The email promised good pay for strategic consulting, but something felt off about it. After 20 years in military strategy, he had learned to trust his gut. This wasn't a normal job offer. He clicked, accept anyway. His gut also told him this could be interesting. 3 days later, Tom sat in an empty warehouse, facing 3 beings that definitely weren't human. One looked like living crystal, another like water in a clear suit, and the third appeared to be a walking stone statue. "I assume this isn't about normal consulting work," Tom said, staying surprisingly calm. Years of military service had taught him to handle unexpected situations. "Correct," the crystal being said. "I am Rock, and we represent the Shadow Collective. We are the galaxy's most elite assassination guild." Tom raised an eyebrow. "And you're telling me this because—" The water-like being moved forward. "I am Blue. We need humans. Specifically, we need their chaos." For the next hour, they explained their problem. Tom listened, occasionally nodding. They showed him mission recordings, data analysis, and probability calculations. Everything pointed to one fact. Human unpredictability was breaking their perfect systems. "Let me get this straight," Tom said, leaning back in his chair. "Your advanced alien civilization with perfect AI and incredible technology needs humans because we're messy and random." "Precisely," Stone rumbled. "Your species makes choices that defy logic. You take wrong turns because they feel right. You change plans at the last second due to hunches. This chaos is exactly what we need." Tom laughed. "You know, during my military days, our commanders always complained that I never stuck to the plan. I got results, but they said my methods were too unpredictable." "Show us," Blue said, bringing up a holographic display of their next target, a wealthy crime boss on a distant world. "How would you approach this?" Tom studied the information for a few minutes. The crime boss lived in a fortress, protected by AI security systems and guards. The collective's computers had calculated 2,347 possible attack scenarios. All had failed. "What if," Tom said slowly, "we don't attack at all?" The alien stared at him. "Look here," he pointed to the data. "Your target spends millions on security because he's afraid of precise, professional attacks. So let's be unprofessional. Have your assassin pretend to be a drunk tourist who got lost. Make them trip and fall right in front of the target's car. No one expects an assassin to be clumsy." Rock's crystalline form flickered with confusion. "Our calculations show this plan has a 2% chance of success. The risk of failure is—" "That's exactly why it will work," Tom interrupted. "Your target's security looks for patterns and perfection. Humans are good at being imperfect. Trust me." 3 days later, they watched the mission recording. The assassin, pretending to be drunk, had stumbled right past the fortress's best security. The target, amused rather than suspicious, had even stepped out of his car to help. It was the last mistake he ever made. "Impossible," Stone rumbled. "The simplest plans succeeded where complex ones failed." Tom smiled. "That's the human factor. Sometimes the best move is the one that makes no sense." Blue moved closer. "Will you teach us more? Help our assassins learn to think like humans." Tom looked at the beings before him. The galaxy's deadliest assassins wanted to learn about chaos from humans. It was absurd, impossible, and completely illogical. "When do we start?" he asked. As they led him to their ship, Tom realized something important. Humans weren't primitive compared to these aliens. They were just different. Where aliens had perfected order, humans had mastered chaos. And in the vast universe, there was room for both. The training room aboard the Shadow Collected ship looked like a mix between a classroom and a combat arena. 20 of the galaxy's deadliest assassins sat in perfect rows, their various alien forms completely still. Too still, Tom thought. "First lesson," Tom said, walking among them. "Everyone move your seats randomly. Don't think about it. Just move." Nobody moved. "My calculations suggest the current seating arrangement is optimal," said a tree-like assassin named Root. Tom sighed. This would be harder than he thought. That's exactly the problem. You're all too perfect. Watch this. He pulled out an old coin from his pocket. Heads, I jump left. Tails, I jump right. He flipped the coin, watched it land, and jumped right. But there was no tactical advantage to that movement, said a metallic being called Shine. Exactly. Tom grinned. Your targets expect you to make perfect tactical choices. They plan for that, but they can't plan for random chaos. Over the next few hours, Tom made the assassins practice making random choices. They had to flip coins to decide their movements, pick lunch options without analyzing nutrition data, and even play simple human games like rock, paper, scissors. It was like teaching art to machines. The assassins struggled with every random choice. Their built-in computers tried to calculate odds, predict outcomes, find patterns. Tom had to teach them to ignore those instincts. You're all thinking too much, Tom said, watching them struggle. Then he had an idea. Let's try something different. Computer, create a simple training simulation. A holographic street appeared in the room, with a target walking the usual route to work. Root, you're up, Tom said. Complete the mission, but every time I flip this coin, you have to do something completely different from your plan. Root stepped into the simulation. The tree-like assassin began following their perfect assassination program. Then Tom flipped the coin. Change it up, he called out. Root froze for a moment, then did something unprecedented. They started dancing in the middle of the street. The target, programmed to spot suspicious behavior, walked right past the dancing alien without a second glance. Root completed the mission easily. See, Tom said to the amazed assassins. The target's security was programmed to spot professional assassins. It wasn't programmed to assess dancing aliens. Slowly, the assassins began to understand. They practiced more scenarios, each time with random elements forced into their perfect plans. A coin flip might make them start singing, take a wrong turn, or pretend to be lost tourists. Humans call it thinking outside the box, Tom explained. But for you, it's more like thinking outside the program. Blue and Rock watched from an observation room above. They're learning, Blue said, her liquid form rippling with excitement. Look at their success rates in the simulations. Rock's crystal surface sparkled. Yes, but more importantly, look at their failure predictions. The target's security systems aren't detecting them as threats anymore. By the end of the first training day, the assassins had learned to incorporate random elements into their missions. It wasn't perfect. They still tried to calculate odds and optimize their randomness, which Tom had to keep correcting. Remember, Tom told them as the session ended, the goal isn't to be perfectly random. The goal is to be naturally unpredictable, like humans. As the assassins filed out, Tom noticed they didn't leave in their usual perfect formation. Some walked slower, others took slightly different routes to the door. Small changes, but significant ones. Progress, he muttered to himself, flipping his coin one more time. The small piece of metal spun in the air, chaos and order dancing together in its rotation, just like his students were learning to do. The galaxy's deadliest assassins were learning to embrace chaos, one random choice at a time. The target was impossible. Everyone said so. Even the Shadow Collective's most advanced computers gave the mission a 0% chance of success. The mark was a powerful alien named Mindweaver, a crime lord with natural precognitive abilities who had survived 200 assassination attempts. Tom stared at the holographic display showing Mindweaver's fortress on a distant moon. Tell me about the previous attempts. All failed, Blue said, her liquid form moving anxiously. Mindweaver sees every planned attack before it happens. Perfect plans are perfectly predictable. Then let's be imperfect, Tom smiled. Root, Shine, you're up. The tree-like Root and metallic Shine stepped forward. They were Tom's best students, the ones who had most embraced chaos in their training. Here's the plan, Tom said. We're going to use no plan at all. Even after weeks of training, the aliens looked shocked. Rock's crystalline form flickered with concern. No plan. That's suicide. Not exactly. Tom pulled out 3 coins. We'll have a basic goal. Get close to Mindweaver. But every decision, every movement will be decided by these coins. Tom handed each assassin a coin. Flip the coin before every choice. Heads, you do one thing. Tails, you do another. The 3rd coin is mine. When I flip it, you both have to do something completely random, no matter what you were doing before. But Shine's metallic surface rippled. How can we complete the mission if we don't know what we'll do next? That's exactly why it will work, Tom said. Mindweaver can't predict what you'll do because even you won't know until the coin tells you. The mission began 3 days later. Root and Shine arrived on the moon separately, each carrying their coin. Tom watched from the command ship, his own coin ready. Root flipped their coin. Heads, walk toward the fortress. Another flip. Tails, stop at a food stall. Mindweaver's security sensors registered nothing suspicious about a tree-like alien buying local food. Shine's coin sent them wandering through the market, apparently lost. Their metallic form reflected the local sunlight, drawing attention. Exactly what a normal assassin would avoid. Tom watched the security system's readings. No alerts. No warnings. Mindweaver's precognitive senses weren't triggering because there was nothing planned to predict. Then Tom flipped his coin. Random action, now. Root immediately started juggling their food. Shine began singing an old Earth song Tom had taught them. The crowd around them laughed. Mindweaver's guards smiled. And Mindweaver himself stepped out of his fortress to watch the strange display. More coin flips. Root accidentally dropped food and stumbled forward. Shine's song got louder as they moved through the crowd. Each random action brought them closer to their target. Mindweaver's security systems stayed quiet. His precognitive senses showed him nothing. How could they? The assassins themselves didn't know what they would do next. The final coin flip came up heads. Root tripped, falling toward Mindweaver. The crime lord's guards reacted too late. They were watching Shine's singing performance. In the confusion, both assassins struck. It was over in seconds. Back on the command ship, the control room erupted in chaos. The impossible target had been eliminated. The perfect precognitive defense had failed against pure random chance. Incredible, Rock said, studying the mission recordings. They succeeded because they didn't know they would succeed. That's the power of chaos, Tom explained. Perfect planning fails against someone who can see the future, but nobody can predict genuine randomness. The news spread quickly through the Shadow Collective. The guild that had built its reputation on perfect planning and flawless execution had just completed an impossible mission using controlled chaos. Tom looked at his coin, smiling. Sometimes the best strategy is no strategy at all. The universe's deadliest assassins had learned their most important lesson. In a galaxy of perfect order, chaos was the ultimate weapon. News travels fast in space, even when it's supposed to be secret. Within weeks of Mindweaver's death, every major guild and organization in the galaxy had heard about the impossible assassination. More importantly, they'd heard about the human behind it. Tom sat in his new office aboard the Shadow Collective's flagship, looking at the stack of job offers on his desk. Each one offered more money than he'd earn in 10 lifetimes on Earth. They're all trying to copy our success, Blue said, her liquid form swirling with amusement. 3 other assassination guilds have already hired human advisors. Any results? Tom asked, though he already knew the answer. Failed missions. Lots of them. Rock's crystal form sparkled as he spoke. They think chaos just means acting stupid. They don't understand the balance you've taught us. A holographic screen lit up, showing their latest mission records. The Shadow Collective's success rate had climbed to 95%. Other guilds, trying to copy their methods without understanding them, were failing more than ever. It's not just about being random, Tom explained to the council. It's about knowing when to use chaos and when to use order. Our assassins succeed because they understand both. The council meeting was interrupted by an urgent message. The screen showed scenes from across the galaxy. Other guilds had started recruiting humans in large numbers, desperate to match the Shadow Collective's success. "Look at this," Stone rumbled, showing another report. "The Green Blade Guild hired 50 humans last week. They told them to act crazy during missions." "How did that go?" Tom asked. 17 injured assassins, 32 failed missions, and 1 human tried to fight a star cruiser with a kitchen spoon. Tom shook his head. "They're missing the point. We don't succeed because humans are crazy. We succeed because we understand how to use unpredictability as a tool." More reports came in. Some guilds were offering massive bounties for human military strategists. Others were trying to create AI systems that could copy human randomness, all failing spectacularly. "The galaxy is changing," Blue observed. "For millennia, perfect order was the goal. Now everyone wants chaos." Tom watched the reports with growing concern. But they're going too far. Too much chaos is just as bad as too much order. He called an emergency training session with their assassins. The room was fuller now. They'd recruited more aliens who showed promise in understanding the balance. "Listen carefully," Tom said. "Other guilds are failing because they think our success is about humans or about chaos. It's not. It's about balance." He pulled out his lucky coin. "This coin has 2 sides, order and chaos, plans and randomness. You need both to succeed." To demonstrate, he set up a training scenario. "Root, show them a perfect mission. No chaos." Root completed the simulation with perfect, predictable efficiency. The target's security spotted them immediately. Now with pure chaos. Root acted completely random, making no progress toward the goal. Now with balance. Root started with a perfect plan, then used controlled chaos to break patterns when needed. Success. "See," Tom said. "That's why we're succeeding where others fail. We're not choosing between order and chaos. We're using both." The lesson spread through the Shadow Collective, and their reputation grew. They became known not just as deadly assassins, but as masters of balance between chaos and order. Other guilds continued to fail in their attempts to copy the success. Some blamed their human advisors. Others blamed their assassins. None understood the truth Tom had discovered. The power wasn't in chaos or order alone, but in knowing how to dance between them. The universe, Tom told his students, isn't about perfect order or pure chaos. It's about finding the right balance between the two. As he looked out at the stars from the flagship's window, Tom smiled. Humanity's gift to the galaxy wasn't chaos. It was the understanding of how to use it wisely. The warning came at midnight, ship time. All across the galaxy, human advisors were disappearing. 3 had vanished from the Green Blade Guild, 5 more from the Star Shadows. Within a week, 15 humans had gone missing from various organizations. Tom paced in the Shadow Collective's war room, watching the reports flow in. "This isn't random. Someone's targeting humans specifically." "Agreed," Rock said, his crystal form dimmed with concern. "We've detected ships from the Order of Perfect Unity moving near our territory." The Order of Perfect Unity, the galaxy's oldest organization of traditionalists who believed in pure logic and absolute order. They had stayed quiet until now, watching from their territory in the galactic core. "They see us as a threat," Blue explained, her liquid form churning with worry. "Not just to their business, but to their entire way of life." A message appeared on the main screen. The sender, High Chancellor, Pure Logic of the Order of Perfect Unity. Tom nodded, and they opened it. The message was simple. "Chaos is a disease. We are the cure. Remove all humans from your organizations within 3 days, or we will remove them for you." "They're afraid," Tom said, understanding dawning on his face. For millions of years, they'd believed that perfect order was the only path to advancement. We've proven them wrong. Reports kept coming in. The Order was sending ships to every major guild and organization that employ humans. Some guilds had already given in, firing their human advisors. Others were trying to fight back, but their perfectly planned defenses were failing against the Order's superior technology. We need to respond, Stone rumbled. But how? The Order's defensive systems are the most advanced in the galaxy. They can predict and counter any planned attack. Tom smiled. Then let's not attack. Let's teach them a lesson instead. He gathered all their assassins, human advisors, and council members. The Order thinks chaos is our weakness. They think we're just being random. Let's show them what true balance looks like. Over the next 2 days, they prepared, not with perfect plans or pure chaos, but with something new, something that combined both. The Order's ultimatum was about to expire when they made their move. Instead of hiding their human advisors, the Shadow Collective did the opposite. They sent them everywhere, openly and obviously. Your move, Tom sent back to the High Chancellor. The Order's ships appeared exactly as predicted, their perfect formation gleaming in space. They'd moved to capture the humans, their computers calculating every possible defense and counterattack. What they didn't calculate was that every human wore a coin on a chain, and at precisely random moments, each human would flip their coin and make a new decision. The Order's perfect predictions fell apart. Their ships, programmed to respond to logical patterns, couldn't adapt to the constant random changes. When they adjusted to target the chaos, they fell victim to perfectly planned traps. Do you understand now? Tom broadcasted to the Order's fleet. Chaos isn't a disease. It's part of the natural order. You can't have one without the other. The Order's ships retreated, their perfect formations broken for the first time in their history. Their message of surrender arrived an hour later. In the aftermath, Tom addressed the gathered council. The Order was right about one thing. Chaos alone is dangerous, but so is perfect order. The universe needs both. The council agreed. Word spread through the galaxy. The Shadow Collective had defeated the Order not through superior technology or better planning, but through understanding a fundamental truth. The universe thrived on balance. What now? Blue asked as they watched the Order's ships disappear into hyperspace. Now, Tom said, flipping his coin one more time, we teach the galaxy what we've learned. Perfect order is a myth. Perfect chaos is disaster. True power lies in knowing how to use both. The coin landed. The galaxy would never be the same. 1 year after the defeat of the Order of Perfect Unity, Tom stood before a very different gathering. The Grand Hall of the Shadow Collective's new headquarters was filled with beings from across the galaxy. Assassins, guild leaders, and even former members of the Order. Welcome to the first Galactic Conference of Balance, Tom announced, looking at the mixed crowd. Some were perfectly still, others fidgeted randomly, just like the universe itself, a mix of order and chaos. Blue moved forward, her liquid form now decorated with the formal markings of Chief Instructor. 1 year ago, we proved that neither perfect order nor pure chaos was the answer. Today, we share that knowledge with everyone. The Shadow Collective had changed. They were still the galaxy's most feared assassins, but they had become something more, teachers of a new way of thinking. Rock, his crystal form now bearing the marks of First Commander, displayed their latest statistics. Our success rate remains at 95%. But more importantly, look at these numbers. The screen showed how their methods had spread. Guilds that adopted the balance of chaos and order saw their success rates climb. Those that tried to copy just the chaos or just the order continued to fail. The secret was never in the coin flips, Tom explained to the gathered crowd. It was in knowing when to flip the coin and when to follow the plan, when to embrace chaos and when to maintain order. A former Order member stood up. We were wrong, she admitted. For millions of years, we thought perfect order was the path to advancement. We forgot that the universe itself was born from chaos, yet follows ordered patterns. Tom nodded. And we humans were wrong too, sometimes embracing chaos too fully, refusing to see the value of order. The truth was always in the balance. The conference continued for days. Assassins shared stories of successful missions where they combined planned precision with controlled randomness. Scientists presented research showing how this balance appeared in nature across the galaxy. Even artists demonstrated how the most beautiful works came from mixing pattern and spontaneity. In one memorable demonstration, Root and Shine performed what they called a chaos order dance, a perfect mission executed with random elements so beautifully integrated that it looked like art. "This is the future," Stone announced to the assembly. Not choosing between chaos and order, but understanding how to use both. The Shadow Collective had become more than an assassination guild. They were now the guardians of a new philosophy that was spreading across the galaxy. Their training program accepted students from all species and organizations, teaching them the delicate dance between precision and randomness. Tom watched it all with satisfaction. Humans were no longer seen as primitive or merely useful for their chaos. They were recognized as beings who naturally understood something that had taken other species millions of years to learn: the power of balance. "What's next?" Blue asked him as they watched ships departing after the conference. Tom pulled out his old coin, the same one he'd used in that first training session. It was worn now, but still perfectly balanced. "We keep teaching. We keep learning. The universe has endless lessons about balance if we're willing to learn them." He flipped the coin one last time. As it spun in the air, it caught the light from a nearby star, flashing like a tiny galaxy spinning through space. Order and chaos, perfectly balanced, endlessly dancing. The coin landed, but Tom didn't look at it. The result didn't matter anymore. What mattered was understanding when to flip it in the first place. The universe's deadliest assassins had become its greatest teachers, and their lesson was simple. True perfection isn't found in complete order or total chaos, but in the wisdom to know when to use each. And somewhere in the vast galaxy, a new mission was beginning, guided by both careful planning and random chance, order and chaos working together in perfect balance.